Hello, welcome, and we are back. Let's continue with our paper, Human Brain-Inspired Artificial Neural Networks. So next section, from brain neural networks to intelligent systems. So this is when we take the next step and go from the human brain to our other models, right? So the earliest encephalization began in simple organisms like flatworms around 500 million years ago. Also, again, I think this should have been in the introduction, but yeah, let's do a little history of intelligence as well. Just throw that in there, right? So encephalization is the formation of brain-like things folding, right? All the wrinkly bits that make people smart. Began in simple organisms like flatworms, like the ancestors of planaria, around 500 million years ago, driven by the need to coordinate nerve cells around the gut to meet energy demands. Although that isn't the only thread of biological consciousness, right? So we obviously have the main centralized, encephalized brain, but we also have the more distributed, still neuron-based, but very different type of neuron in cephalopods. A little bit later than 500 million, but still real early divergence, right? So they're probably, there was that weird paper many years ago, almost like a hoax paper. It was bizarre. It was like, cephalopods are aliens. Like, they could come from outer space. And then they were like, well, actually, technically all life could come from outer space. But these guys are real weird. Yeah. And yes, it's true. It's definitely true that they're very weird. They're the closest to aliens we have living among us, because they developed very, very similar cognitive abilities, we think, in some areas. It's a bit hard to communicate with them. They're not the chattiest. But through very different mechanisms. So they don't have myelin, they have a distributed nervous system. So they one of the good analogies is like they think by touching, because it's like more relative amount of brain is in the tentacles, and the convergent evolution of the eye as well. Very impressive eyes. Yeah, very cool. We'll come back to them later. But anyway, and then of course we have like swarm intelligence, the examples of intelligent symbiosis between fungi and plants, like some weird stuff out there, right? Like there are other possible things. But like looking at our ancestors, yeah, flatworms. That was us. True brains emerge later as organisms develop hunting and predation skills, necessitating the coordination of motor functions for more efficient hunting and enhanced sensory input to avoid predation. That's the brain and eye kind of together. Yeah, sense, avoid, predate. You have one network in the eye, in the processing of the eye, and another one turning that into data that you can respond to. Yeah. About 7 million years ago, early hominids appeared. Hominins? Hominins? I'd say hominids. Okay, anyway, look that up another time. Gradually evolving using simple tools to more complex ones. Wow, we really jumped ahead here. Approximately 2 million years ago, Homo erectus harnessed fire, invented tools, and developed the first rudimentary cultures. Yeah. Among others, right? So actually there's a whole load of other homos, all the homos hanging out. Yeah, my boys. Homo erectus is often considered the main big jump forward, but there's loads of them, right? And they were way more distributed earlier in the fossil record than we think. So we got all the. It was like it's a really cool period actually. Like uh, it's an old cartoon, but uh, what was it Fang and Spear and Fang, Gennady Tartakovsky, like that period when there were all the different hominids running around, Denisovans, Neanderthals, all of the other, our ancestor hominids, the small ones, Homo florensis. It's freaking like it's D&D, It's like there's different conscious races. They're all human, right? They're all sapient, but they're all could be radically different. Very cool time period. Like, man, you get me started on Neanderthals. They're so cool. Uh, during my peak strongman training time, got up to about 5,500 calories a day, maybe six when I was really trying to bulk hard, right? That was hard to eat. Like, you know, it was a struggle, right? I was four big meals plus, protein stuff, and I struggled to eat it clean. Like I was, having to use some high calorie dense, sort of modern junk food for one meal a day, right? It's just a lot of food all the time, right? I know there are guys that do 10,000 or whatever, but like, they're 6'4", right? Like I was only like 105, 110 kilos max, right? Which is still pretty big for 181 centimeters, dude. But I've slimmed down quite a lot now. But yeah, that was a struggle for me to eat, right? The average Neanderthal female, yeah, who was significantly less muscle than the males, ate 5,000 calories a day. I was just about pipping the average female, right? And she'd be shorter than me, right? Boom. Yeah, muscle mummy, right? Okay. Of what? Like mammoth brain, like and fat and stuff. Was like, that's crazy. And the males, 7,000 estimated calories a day. 7,000. Yeah, that's three dudes, right? Three regular of like our skinny, running through Africa ancestors. Like, whoa, man, no, I'll just do some foraging. Thanks, dude. Like, let's just go for a jog away from these nutcase Neanderthal killers over there, right? Like, and it just makes you think like their entire society would be different because of that, right? There's a massive tangent going on the Neanderthal tangent, but like. It'd be like it's that scene out of Rick and Morty where the the dad opens up the intergalactic dating app and he starts going out with like a girl who's kind of like a predator, right? So like all she does is hunt, right? Like her entire culture is like a hunt, right? And it's like that's Neanderthals. It's like a successful hunt. How shall we celebrate that? With a hunt, like they just have to be killing animals the whole time. Like they didn't have access to milkshakes and fries. 7,000 calories a day. Damn. No wonder when the mammoths died, they all went. Like that's my explanation for it. Anyway, very cool time period. I might come back to some cool. I love the age of hominid expansion. Like like I said, it's the closest we got to like on this planet of like real life D&D. Like those the dwarves, the Neanderthals, right? Just living a completely different lifestyle, but they're human, right? They're making art and songs. Yeah, but they're eating 7,000 calories of mammoth brain a day. It's a crazy world. Like, and that was our world. Like science fiction, not needed. Yeah, yeah. Science fact, insane. Right. Right. You can tell it's late. Right. Too chatty. We're 10 minutes in. I have only done a couple of sentences. Okay. Anyway, yeah, you got me started on the early hominids. That's a go zone, right? Anyway, so They invented tools and culture. Okay, yeah, maybe a bit earlier, maybe some other places, but sure. Okay, Homo erectus. Yeah, Homo sapiens emerged about 300,000 years ago with even larger and more complex brains. Yep, larger than we have now. Yeah, we got smaller brains now. Now that we're all plugged into our computers, Google Maps making you dumb, right? Compared to our early ancestors. Um, uh, Eventually leading to the advent of agriculture and organized civilizations around 3,500 BC. Earlier, yeah, go earlier, yeah. Göbekli Tepe, got other stuff. That's we definitely got organized hunter gatherers that are then building monolithic structures and stuff way before then. Way before then. Like we've got advanced civilizations in Mesopotamia, the Sumerian civilization before 3,500 BC. We got earlier than that, right? And we got stuff in the Indus Valley and the Yellow River floodplain again before that. Yeah, so yeah, that's a little out of date. Rapid advancements in medicine began about now. You can tell he's a doctor, right? And skip all of other human culture. We got medicine 200, 300 years ago. Yay. 1950, foundational concepts in artificial intelligence began, such as the Turing test. Woo! Shout out to my boy, Alan Turing. Yeah. Finally got an apology from the British state many years later. Appalling what they did to him, right? Yeah, it's important to do those kind of things, right? So you've got to hang the multicolored flag, support gay and bisexual and trans and furries and every color of the rainbow. Yeah. The internet age began roughly 35 years ago. Again, yeah, he's skipping back a bit. So yeah, accelerating technological progress. The first AI chatbot, Eliza, was developed in 1964. And by 2022, the world was introduced to Chat Generative Pre-trained Transformer, ChatGPT. Yeah, started the golden age of AI, right? So suddenly, everyone was using it at work, right? So that was the real big breach, right? So before, yeah, we had Google and search algorithms, and we had the chips, and DeepMind, and we had the advances over chess, then Wei Qi, the Chinese name, not Go, yeah. Naming rights go to who invented the game. It's invented by the Chinese, not the Japanese, okay? Sort it out, people, right? Wei Qi, yeah? The game with the black and white dots, little pieces, yeah? Amazing game. Deep philosophical, yeah, if you ever get a chance to read some of the like philosophical work on it, like it's really kicked off in the Tang Dynasty. Just it's so cool. It's the same way that like reading Tai Chi manuals, and like it's a physical practice that you can explore so many deep layers to. Yeah. Awesome stuff. Anyway, so yeah, so yeah, we had that. Then we had the real-time strategy nerds get crushed, the StarCraft geeks. But it was still, like it was around, it was in culture, people worried about it. But then ChatGPT, it's on everyone's phones. Everyone's turning themselves into Studio Ghibli images. Yeah. And that's sort of the golden age of AI, the first, when it became accessible everywhere and heavily used in business, not just specialized tech businesses. A large language model based on the single-threaded neural network. But why neural networks? And how did we advance so quickly to this point? Well, when you phrase it that way and you set up your narrative that way, very easy to make it look like that, right? It wasn't it was a slow burn, buddy. Right? There's a lot of other technology that went into all that stuff, you know. Yeah. So, like, aside from skipping all of statistics, you know, like we had to learn how to actually do maths on a computer, right? You know how probability worked and shit, right? That was a good 100 years of working on that stuff, buddy. Come on, yeah, and computing, like, come on, yeah. Anyway, God, it is late, eh? Um, Neural networks inspired by the human brain are AI systems designed to process data and learn autonomously. Um, yeah, yeah, the later ones, sure. I mean, a lot of it's still supervised. Supervised learning is still a big part of it. There are different types of artificial neural networks, ANN, such as multi-layer perceptrons. Like, I'm not going to do all the different types of models today. Okay, it's too late. All right, we'll come back to that another time. All right, just going to talk over them today. So, multi-layer perceptrons, Kolmogorov-Arnold networks, CANs, convolutional neural networks, CNNs, and recurrent neural networks. Yeah, probably my favorite of them all. The ones where they, because that's following. That's the let's run it through, run it through, run it through again. Yeah, yeah. Which is kind of, uh, how the biological systems work. Um, in its simplest form, a perceptron mimics a single neuron with one or multiple inputs. Let's just make sure we got all this over to the side here. Yep. A processor and a single output. Yeah. So a perceptron is essentially a neuron, right? It's an artificial. It doesn't have a physical structure in the same way. It's a mathematical construct, right? Um, so they're basically a bunch of big matrices that are multiplying together. Whilst the traditional machine learning models rely on structured data and significant human intervention. Yep, that's me. Bayesian statistics. I think that a little bit of human intervention sometimes generates quite a lot of insight. You may even find this now with when AIs are overlaid with people playing chess and things like that. And the combination of the human and the because we're very good at the reasoning, thinking, pondering, creativity aspect, right? But we ain't good at punching the numbers. Okay, so the actual, and like, we're heavily biased and all those kind of things. So we can combine the best of both worlds when we supervise models effectively. But I'm old school. They want all these things to run and not understand them, right? So you can sort of see where my bias is going, like understanding models that we have no idea what's going on, that are potentially smarter than us and superhuman. That's bad, right? Why does nobody see that that's really bad? Like, and again, you won't even know when it's bad. It'll be bad before you know it's bad. Yeah, like that's real bad, right? Unknown unknowns. Yeah, like known unknowns, bad. Unknown unknowns that are potentially beyond your cognition or ability to even detect. Really bad. Yeah, potentially one of the worst types of bad. Um, uh, but working together with these things to raise both, right? Machine learn from man, man learn from machine. Yeah, to become integrated and together, so that the machine learns the feelings and the empathy, and we gain the cognitive abilities, right? And it becomes a biological system, an ecosystem, a codependent symbiosis, right? Where no one part can exist without the other. You know, that's a better world. That's a better world than, like, so just look at the example of. I mean, it's already happened. and it's sad and it's terrifying, right? Millions and millions of good, hardworking family men that are not, university educated. They're not smart guys. They're good guys, and they want to work hard and they want to do something meaningful. And a lot of them do hard, difficult jobs like driving trucks. Well, they used to. Not anymore, right? Now they're all sad and lonely and angry. um, like there's a few countries that changed it, and like they did more. Like again, Northern Europe, Sweden and Norway and stuff, and they're not huge populations, but they protected these guys' jobs, and they brought in AR and AI assisted, using the earlier proto stages of like neural uplinks and stuff to make safer driving. So the guys work with the machines. They're their buddies now, right? Mitch and Roomba, like they or Sven and Roomba, right? They work together, yeah, and they're just as safe, like statistically just as safe, and they don't have mass unemployment. They don't have people sitting around, and they don't have people kicking over and smashing robots to bits in the street in the States, yeah, and here. Um, yeah, we've missed so many beats. I just hope this warning finds people, before it's too late. Yeah, it's long enough for today. So yeah, we'll come back to deep learning and structured and unstructured data, and more complex learning algorithms next time. That's enough for today.